The story begins in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean, where a family is enjoying a vacation aboard their boat. They have gathered there to celebrate young Ben's birthday. Everyone is smiling, laughing, and creating happy memories together, completely unaware that their lives are about to change forever. For a few moments, everything is normal. While they are enjoying the ocean view, Ben's mom, Julia, jumps into the sea for a swim. Meanwhile, Ben and his father are busy fishing. But suddenly, a strong current begins to pull Julia, and within a few minutes, she realizes that the yacht is too far away. Desperate, Julia screams for help from her family, but Cassie can't hear her, and Ben is distracted trying to catch a fish. Luckily, Tom faintly hears Julia's voice. He spots Julia and immediately jumps into the water to save her. On the other side, Ben starts the boat engine and brings it near them. Luckily, Tom saves Julia from drowning, and after this scare, she says she doesn't know why the current pulled her in, as the sea seemed to be calm. Even so, Tom is relieved that his wife is okay and warns everyone not to try to swim away from the ship. Later, the family gathers around the table to celebrate Ben's 13th birthday, starting with the delivery of presents. The young man gets a new laptop from his father, a jellyfish mask from his sister, and a Dominican necklace from his mother to protect him from bad spirits. After celebrating the birthday at night, Cassie's boyfriend video calls her. Cassie tells him that they are all enjoying a lot on the boat, but her boyfriend tells Cassie that they should quickly come to the surface. The TV there is saying that something very big is about to happen, but his call is interrupted when the camera shows a strong storm around the city. Cassie finds this strange, as she's never seen a storm like it, and warns her parents about it. However, at the same moment, everyone hears sounds approaching and realizes that humpback whales are swimming close to the yacht. They seem to be migrating somewhere, and one of them ends up colliding with the ship, forcing Tom to take a look at the hull to see if there has been any damage. Minutes after entering the water, he emerges saying that he has been injured by some marine animal. He can't say what it was, but the attack left a deep gash in his shoulder. Seeing this, Julia stitches his wounds. To make matters worse, one of the propellers has been damaged by the whales, and now they'll need help to tow the yacht back to port. Julia tries to send an emergency call on the radio, but no one gets back to her, and the cell phones are out of range. They can only hope that help comes soon because, according to Tom's estimate, the family only has resources for 4 days. Everything only gets more complicated when they see flashes coming from the sky as if they were meteorites. One of them falls very close to the ship and Tom tries to start it, but with the second propeller damaged, the engine can't cope and ends up overheating. Tom sees that these objects falling from the sky are actually satellites. That is why radio and telephone signals have suddenly stopped working. They had not fully recovered from this accident when another meteoroid also starts moving toward them. Fortunately, the object doesn't hit the ship. Still, it's too dangerous to be outside, so the family goes into the cabin and closes all the doors and windows. But the impact of the satellites causes the yacht to lose control. The movement of the ship causes Ben to hurt himself, and his parents help him up, leaving him safely on the sofa. Tom then equips his children with lifeboats and struggles to reach the radio to call for help. But a strong storm breaks out, causing the ship to rock even more. The whole situation makes Julia bleed from the nose, and Cassie feels increasingly nauseous. Ben also suffers severe discomfort and tries to run toward his room, but the ship keeps rocking, and he stumbles on the stairs. Faced with the force of nature, Julia and Tom help their children, and the four of them gather in the cabin waiting for the storm to end. After hours of tension, the family wakes up the next morning safe, but the ship has been seriously damaged. The four of them leave the cabin and go to check what has happened. They are all stunned by the sight. They see that there is no water below their boat. Fish are lying on the ground around the boat, and their boat is in a barren mountainous area as if they have come to some other world. This place has completely changed. Where there was water until last night now looks like tall mountains and pits. They all quickly realize that they are not in a desert but still in the middle of the ocean. All the ocean water has shifted from there to somewhere else. Tom suspects that, just as happened 700,000 years ago, the planet's poles have reversed, changing the position of the seas and the land. If this is true, there's a good chance that millions of people have lost their lives due to the giant waves caused by the movement of the oceans. This news hurts Cassie a lot. She locks herself in the cabin because she has now learned that her boyfriend is no longer in this world. Her parents try to calm her down, but they can't waste any more time and set off to repair the ship and stockpile as much water and food as possible. Ben also decides to help and uses the balloons from his birthday, tied to a rope, to act as a signal in case there are any survivors nearby. After that, Tom tries to contact someone via radio. He hopes that there will be no response from the other side, but surprisingly, he gets one. The response is given by a captain named Now, who also knows about the ocean shifting because he too was in his submarine like Tom's family. The captain tells Tom that this event could be a natural phenomenon in response to pollution and environmental destruction caused by humans. What's more, his submarine's computer indicates that this event will be repeated in just under a week. As a result, the ocean will return to its natural state, destroying everything in its path. He advises the family to find the highest place possible. Otherwise, they will have no chance of surviving the colossal impact of the water. Before ending the call, Tom asks if the submarine would be able to withstand the impact. NATO believes it is possible, but there is only room for 3 people. Fearing for their children's lives, the couple beg him to let Cassie and Ben stay on the submarine to ensure their survival. He agrees and gives them the coordinates of his location, which is a 3-day journey from where they are. The next morning, the entire family is ready for their journey. Then Tom sees that, from far away, a strange man is walking toward them with his dog. Tom sees that the man is injured, so he wants to help him. He takes a water bottle and goes to him. After drinking Tom's water, instead of thanking him, the man attacks him. Seeing this, Julia runs desperately to help her husband, but the criminal finishes Tom off with a blow to his throat. Helpless to do anything, Julia runs to warn her children, but the man with the harpoon throws his weapon, hitting Julia in the shoulder. Even though she's wounded, she runs to the ship and locks herself inside with her children while the criminal approaches and tries to force his way in. Inside, Julia gives Cassie a flare gun and says to use it when they are in a very difficult situation. While they are talking, the man reaches the boat, and to escape him, Julia goes inside the bathroom. Now the killer starts searching the boat, and as soon as he finds food there, he starts eating. He pounces on the food as if he has been hungry for many days. At this point, Julia makes a makeshift bandage on her shoulder and waits for the criminal, who gets closer and closer to the bathroom. Finally, he opens the door expecting to find someone, but at the last second, Julia manages to escape through an opening in the ship's hull. The problem is that outside she comes across the dog, which starts barking to warn its owner. The animal then advances toward Julia, who has no choice but to strike it with a blade. When the man looks out and sees his dog dead, he understands that Julia is outside the boat. As soon as he gets down from the boat to catch her, Julia goes back up on the boat and, using broken glass as a path, comes inside again. But after a little while, Julia gets caught by the man. He grabs her by the hair and starts beating her. He begins choking Julia. Now she fights the killer in every way possible to save herself. Cassie, who is watching all this from the cabin, remembers that this is a good opportunity to use the flare gun. She fires it, causing the man to fall far away, but nothing much happens to him. Still, they get a chance to escape. The flare gun causes a fire in the kitchen, and Julia rushes to get the groceries before everything is destroyed. As soon as she picks up the backpack, the criminal tries to attack her again, but she strikes back with a direct kick to his face. Julia quickly comes out of the boat to save her children. After coming out, Cassie and Ben start crying when they see their father's dead body. Tragically, Tom has lost his life, and the family will not be able to mourn him because the man with the harpoon is still alive and walking toward them. That is why Julia takes her children and runs away from there. A little later, their burning boat explodes. After running for a long time, they become very tired. They stop behind a hill to rest because they feel that perhaps the killer has stopped chasing them. Ben, however, is still tormented by what happened to his father and feels guilty, believing that the balloons attracted the criminal to the ship. Julia explains to her son that it is not his fault. He had released the balloons in the air for help. After this, the 3 of them resumed their journey toward the submarine. A few minutes later, Ben encounters a hammerhead shark, which won't be able to survive much longer due to the lack of water. His mother tells him to keep moving because, when she looks through her binoculars, she sees the criminal walking toward them. The family hurries to get out of there. More hours pass, and Ben begins to feel ill from the effects of dehydration. His mother rushes to get the bottle of water, but because of Cassie's carelessness, she didn't close the lid properly, and now there are only a few drops left. Julia is furious with her daughter for her mistake, because without water, they won't be able to survive until the end of the journey. The two begin to argue, with Cassie saying that the whole journey is pointless. Julia reprimands her for saying this and tells everyone to keep going. Moving forward, they see a plane that must have crashed and fallen into the sea years ago. They hide inside the plane, and Julia looks at their family photo one last time, which they had taken the previous night. Seeing that photo, everyone remembers Tom. They cannot believe what has happened to them in just one day. Now the night has become very late, and they are exhausted. Cassie and Ben fall asleep. Later, Cassie wakes up and goes outside the plane. Without her realizing it, the man sneaks up on her and approaches slowly, ready to attack. What he doesn't realize is that Julia has also woken up, and without wasting any time, she attacks him from behind with a knife, followed by a sharp blow to the heart. Not satisfied with seeing the man who took her husband's life, Julia begins to strike him repeatedly, unleashing all her fury. Cassie watches her mother's rage and shock, then hugs her so that she can drop the weapon and come to her senses. Finally, the stalker is eliminated, and the family can rest easy for the remainder of the night. In the morning, when they wake up, they see that the killer's body is in terrible condition. Some creature has cut him open and hollowed him out from the inside, leading them to realize that dangerous creatures are nearby. Now they have to quickly reach the captain's submarine. In the intense heat, Ben starts walking alone and runs into a puddle full of contaminated water. Without hesitation, he starts drinking it, forcing his mother and sister to pull him back before he gets sick. After this incident, the two take him to a field full of chairs and set up a makeshift camp. Julia then gives him medicine to prevent him from getting sick from the water. Unable to continue walking, the three rest until Julia hears strange noises coming from far away. When she goes out to look, she discovers that a huge number of crabs are moving toward them. To escape them, they start running. After running some distance, they see a very large cargo ship with many containers on it. Many people had taken shelter inside these containers. As soon as they see Julia and her children, they all hide inside. Actually, they are not running from the family, but from the crabs chasing them. Julia, Cassie, and Ben go near the containers and beg the people to open the doors, but nobody helps them. Meanwhile, a massive army of crabs is approaching. Julia orders her children to climb the containers before they are caught by the sea creatures. Then it's Julia's turn to climb, but one of the creatures attacks her, injuring her foot. Luckily, she manages to climb up just in time, and the three of them stay safe on top of the containers. The same can't be said for the survivors below, as the creatures manage to break through the gaps and wipe them all out. At the same time, Julia faints because of the wound on her foot. The next morning, Julia regains consciousness. She sees that both her children are gone and becomes terrified that something may have happened to them. But then, from far away, she sees Cassie and Ben returning. They had actually gone in search of food and water. The family then explores the site in search of supplies and finds the survivors' weapons. Using the gunpowder from the ammunition, Julia cauterizes the wound on her leg to prevent infection. After this, Julia contacts the captain, who says that the same creatures have attacked him as well, and now he is badly injured. He says he cannot help them anymore. He also tells Julia that these animals are arthropods, creatures from the depths of the sea trying to adapt to their new environment. Due to the high amount of oxygen, the creatures have become more aggressive and will destroy anyone who crosses their path. He then asks the group to hurry because, in addition to the arthropods, the submarine's readers indicate that the sea will return sooner than expected. In just a few hours, the whole region will be covered in water, and if they don't get there in time, they will be caught by the force of the sea. Julia starts crying because they no longer know which direction to go to reach the submarine since, during the chaos, they lost their map. To help them, the captain fires a flare into the air, and Ben sees it. But the location is still very far away. The family begins moving quickly toward the submarine. On the way, There is a huge ravine with narrow stone paths. Still, the family continues on. But in the middle of their journey, a rockfall begins. One of the rocks is about to fall on Cassie and Ben, but Julia pushes them away, saving their lives. However, Julia gets trapped. Cassie does not want to move forward without her mother, but Julia makes her swear that she will save herself and her brother at any cost. Cassie then continues forward with Ben. When they arrive, they find the captain badly injured, and because of blood loss, he doesn't have long to live. Even so, he intends to keep the siblings safe inside the submarine and offers his place to their mother. Hearing this, Cassie quickly turns back and rushes toward Julia. Meanwhile, another flood of crabs begins coming toward Julia, who starts shooting them with her gun. But after a while, her bullets run out. Before any creature can attack her, Cassie reaches down and gives her a hand. Finally, with her help, Julia manages to escape. After that, the two run toward the submarine. Without wasting any more time, the family gets inside the submarine while the terrifying crabs continue chasing them. Then a gigantic sea wave, several hundred meters high, comes rushing toward them. They quickly take their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Finally, the sea covers the entire desert region, pushing the submarine with all its might. The family, however, refuses to give up. Holding each other's hands, they resist the force of nature and hope they can survive another day. After hours of uncertainty, the family wakes up to the feeling that the submarine has run aground. Julia opens the top hatch, and the three of them find themselves in front of a city completely destroyed by the huge waves. With her children safe and sound, Julia hugs them. Showing this scene, the film ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.